The more trauma that you've gone through, even emotional trauma, because it gets lodged into the body, like stuck emotions. The more trauma that you've gone through, the less you want to do anything to regulate yourself, like go for a walk or get out of your bed or like do anything, because it feels like you're a victim. It feels like your instinct is to hide and to burrow even deeper into isolation because you feel like prey. So it seems counterintuitive. Like, there's a trail literally a 5-minute drive away from my house. And I love that place. Like, but when I'm in my bed sometimes and I'm just like stuck in a freeze response, I don't want to go to the fucking trail. I've been sexually abused before. I don't want to go put on my fucking leggings and then risk someone staring at my ass. I've been bullied for my body my entire life. I don't want to go there and somebody looks at me and like, that's my fear. Or I'm scared that I'm going to run into more crazy people at the trail. Like, at that trail, I stopped going for a while because I made a video about it in my monologue section. An undercover cop or a fake cop stalked me at the trail and then yelled at me at the top of his lungs and like would not let it go. He said, because my dog wasn't on a leash, but really I think it's because he knew no one else was at the trail except for us, and he waited until we were at the point where he could see the overlook of the rest of the trail and it was empty, and then he harassed me, and then he knew he was losing, so he said, leave now or I'm gonna go get my badge and then I'll arrest you, blah blah blah. And I was scared he had a gun. That's what I was scared of. That's why I didn't do all that shit I wanted to do. And so I was so shaken up, I stopped going to the trail 5 minutes away from my house. And I've had weekends where I'm like, damn, I really need to go exercise. But instead, I just sunk deeper into that fear response, feeling like prey, feeling like men are predators. And if you're isolated enough, any man will become a predator. They'll drop their facade and suddenly they'll attack when they see that you're alone. But anyway, I remember I watched a video and it said that the definition of trauma is any event that we couldn't have a full nervous system cycle with. Like, it's similar, I don't remember the exact parts of the nervous system cycle. It's similar to the sexual cycle. Like, there's like a climax in your nervous system during a stressful event, and then if it's resolved correctly, you sink back into relief, you sink back into safety from danger. But it could be any situation. It could be you slammed your hand in the microwave on accident, and now that's a trauma stuck in your system. Because you didn't get full nervous system relief. Whatever it is. And then it gets trapped in the nervous system as trauma, as somatic memory. Just like we have memory in our mind about emotional stuff, how we felt, our body has like somatic memory, like muscle memory. I'm pretty sure, I didn't do any extensive research on this. I think sometimes when like your muscles start twitching, like sometimes my leg will randomly start twitching. Sometimes my ass starts twitching. And I think what it is, it's a somatic trauma release. It's some kind of something being released out of the muscle tissue. I wonder, there's sometimes my eye starts twitching and then it suddenly goes away. It doesn't happen for years, even though there's no real pattern with when it happens. what was I saying? I don't remember how I started this video. I guess it's the traumas that make you feel unsafe, even moving a muscle, like trauma of timeout. I think putting kids in timeout is traumatizing for them. And you're not allowed to move from that spot, and you're already in a heightened state because typically you've just been punished or shamed by an authority figure, and their nervous system capacity has really overpowered yours just because of your size. And then instead of being able to work that trauma out of your system, you're then put in timeout in a corner, and you have to sit there frozen, and you're not allowed to move, or else you'll get punished again. See, I worked in like 3 different preschools. When I was on my own time, when there was no other fucking old hag bitch teacher, because that's what I think a lot of them are, old hag bitch. Like that one bitch. Never mind. It's because I worked in a preschool with my mother, and one of the bitches hated my mother, so I automatically hated her too. When I was on my own time, I would never put a kid in timeout, because I was a kid who got punished every fucking day. Sometimes my aunt would punish me for something I didn't do, or something I did a month ago, because she just enjoyed punishing me because she thought I was the most beautiful child, and she always felt like she was ugly, and her father didn't want her because she was ugly, and she was attracted to my father. So there was all kinds of drama, and so she would punish me every day. One time she made me go in timeout for 2 entire hours because I refused to apologize. Because why do I have to apologize to you? Who are you? You're not a fucking priest. And so I wouldn't apologize, so she kept putting me in timeout. That really dysregulated my nervous system growing up. I'm still scared of older women who target me and try to punish me and act like an authority figure, because they're not. But I never like to put kids in timeout. On my own time, I won't. But sometimes there was times where the older bitch that I was working with, the other teacher, she would not let it go. She would like force me to put a kid in timeout for their quote unquote bad behavior, even though they're 3 years old, and 3-year-olds can't even, they're still in pull-ups. They don't know what bad behavior is. They didn't do anything. But on my own time, I never punish kids. Like when I would call them over to me when they, air quote, did something wrong, like hit their classmate, I'd think like, damn, if I was you, I would have hit that kid too. I wouldn't have liked them either. But when I would call them over, I would purposely say, you're not in trouble, and you have to go eye level with the kid. You can't be above them. And I'm 5'10", and I'm not small. I'm not thin. I talk the way that I talk. I don't talk like this. Like, I know I have an intimidating presence. Like, you have to go eye level, not keep them there for long, not lecture them, and pat them on their shoulder afterwards and let them go play. Like, I don't like to punish kids because it just... Maybe if I was one of you skinny, short hoes who doesn't know your own size, then I would punish kids left and right. But I know my power. Even with my clients, because now I work with older people. I work with people with disabilities. Like, there was a time in the summer, the company doesn't let me buy alcohol for patients, even if they've been drinking their whole life. Like, if I go to the store for a client, I can't buy them alcohol. There were so many different ways I could have handled that. I just said, there was no punishment. There was no punishment, even if I came back without it. I just helped her download the Instacart app, and she has to do it herself. Even though that situation is so delicate, it easily could have went any kind of way. But yeah. I wonder how much trauma gets trapped in our nervous system all throughout life, because we're in school. I started preschool when I was 3. I just finished school when I was 22. That's 19 fucking years of the standardized education system, where it's already so traumatizing for a kid to have to sit in a desk or sit in a chair for 30 minutes to an hour at a time. And then if you do something like hit your classmate because you're overstimulated and you need to like get your energy out, and you're frustrated that you have to fucking sit for an hour, I'd hit them too. I'd start whining too. Like, there was one kid, I don't know if kids have ADHD. I say I have ADD, ADHD because I get an Adderall prescription and I quite enjoy it. So I don't know if kids have ADHD or they're like rambunctious or whatever, or if it's an issue within the school system. It's too much restriction for a child, too much rules, and all the teachers are underpaid, so they're frustrated, and a lot of people get stuck in that. I met a lot of women I don't like in childcare settings or early education, because sometimes women go in those fields because they want to have power over someone, and they don't have any power over anyone except a vulnerable child. I don't know why I started trailing off into this. Oh yeah, I was talking about the nervous system. I wonder how much of our adult traumas and the habits we have, like anxiety and all this shit, I wonder how much of it stems from childhood and the habitual punishment shit we had to deal with from adults early in life, and how much we had to distort our nervous system and not move. The nervous system lady that I watch says that when we're in a state of fight or flight, or we suddenly go into overdrive, or we're just stressed out and not thinking, like we're in a heightened state, we have to ask ourselves, when was the last time I ate? Did I drink water? Do I have to go to the bathroom right now? And I think, like, damn, like, she said, the bathroom, like, that seems so obvious. And then I think back, and in school, you had to ask the teacher, can I go to the bathroom? And for me, it was so embarrassing. I'm not going to raise my fucking hand and basically say, can I go spread my ass cheeks on the toilet and piss while my whole vagina is open? Can I go do that so everyone can think about me with no pants on in the bathroom? So I would just hold it. And now I think, like, wow, sometimes I go like kind of numb. I don't even know if I have to go to the bathroom, like when I'm at work or something. I wonder how much of that is stemming from early school trauma. I need to get my brakes looked at. We literally start going to school when we're still in diapers. We go to daycare or preschool. think about my dog too. They are kind of intuitively potty trained, but sometimes Frances will try to wake me up in the middle of the night and I'm asleep, and I almost hope that she pees on the floor. I don't even punish my dogs for pissing and shitting on the floor. If I was a dog, I would do it too. I wonder how many of these dogs, the cases of quote unquote dog anxiety, separation anxiety, all these phenomena of emotional health issues with dogs, how much of it is caused by the way that dog was trained? They're afraid. They're afraid that you won't love them. They're afraid you'll abandon them. And all their quote-unquote good behavior is fueled by fear. Maybe that's the reason behind separation anxiety. I'm building a little kitchen thing in my room. Like, I got a cabinetette or whatever they're called. And I have like a rice cooker, I have a mini burner, just like a little kitchen area in my room. I think it's because when I wake up in the morning and I anticipate I'm going to have to go upstairs in my robe to make breakfast and be so vulnerable, and it's like a source of terror for me every day. I think it's because when I lived in hostels and stuff, especially long term, the longest I ever traveled was 6 months by myself. I've lived with a lot of strange men. I've lived with a lot of strange people. I've had my shit stolen. I've been psychically attacked in my sleep in a hostel by someone astral traveling in the same room as me. And my nervous system is still like there. I wonder why I started thinking about this today. But yesterday, when I came to realize that a lot of these obsessions with revenge, or like obsession with war and thinking everything is about death, and like just those spirals that we can get into. I say we because I know I'm not the only one. I think a lot of it is caused by not being physically active enough. And we have stored trauma in our body anyway. If we don't move around and we do what our body is inclined to do, which is retreat further into the self, and not move, then it's just perpetuating the cycle. Like, I went back to the trail near my house where that fucking man yelled at me. It was nearly a year ago. And I was so relieved afterwards, like, ugh. It felt like I was on a drug, like, wow. Okay. But But I forgot, it's because that experience really fucked up my fitness routine. In a place that used to be safe for me, like the trail near my house. It's beautiful. Now suddenly I was scared I was going to run into men with guns, or I was going to get harassed whenever I go there. And I think, well, damn, if I'm going to get harassed by a random man, and they're going to pop out of nowhere and suddenly attack or target my dog. My dog's allowed to run off a leash there. She's been going there since she was a baby. I would think, like, damn, if now it's the spring and I'm not wearing a big coat, what if another man targets me? But what if he sexually harasses me? Now I can't even wear exercise clothes. And so I just stopped going, and it fucked things up for me. I know what triggered me to go there again yesterday. I work in home healthcare, even though nowadays I work in a assisted living facility. The nurse who came to visit one of the clients I saw the day after that happened, she just came to visit one of the clients that I see today, and I hadn't seen her since that event. So I guess that's what made me remember, I can probably go back to that trail now. Anyway, I'm at work and I'm making money. And even on days where I don't like my job, I think about this thought process that I went through before when I did not want to work. I don't want to fucking work, obviously. I thought, damn, I think about grandma. I'm like, women couldn't have jobs. That meant women couldn't be out in the community. And grandma wasn't even allowed to drive. Women were just sitting at home, just ripe victims for domestic abuse. And no one else would see them except for their husband for days at a time because they couldn't drive, they couldn't work. They had no social protection in their community. They had no one outside of their abusive domestic situation. Damn, a job is actually a form of survival. It's about being in the community. And I guess I guess I am really doing wonders for my nervous system on the days where I go to the gym, and then I also go to work, and then on my break at work, I go for a walk in nature. I'm probably undoing years of shit.